Okay, let's just get right to it. Our planet's nature is in crisis. And yeah, that's a huge challenge. But, with every crisis, there's a search for a solution, right? So, in this explainer, we're going to dig into this really powerful idea that might just help us build a totally different, a better relationship with the natural world.
And look, let's be super clear about the stakes here, right from the get-go. This is not some far-off abstract problem. No way. This is a crisis that's right here, right now, and it's undermining the very foundations of our lives. We're talking our health, our food, our economies. It's all on the line. So that really brings us to the big question, the one we're going to tackle in this whole explainer. How do we actually flip the script? How do we get away from an economy that just takes and breaks and move to one that heals and regenerates the world around us? It's a massive question, for sure, but the good news is there are answers. All right, so to find those answers, we've got to start by really wrapping our heads around the full scale of the problem. Because here's the thing, this isn't just nature's crisis happening somewhere out there. It is, absolutely, our crisis too. And yeah, this environmental decline, it affects every single one of us. But let's be real, the burden isn't shared equally, not even close. It's the most vulnerable communities, the most disadvantaged groups that get hit the hardest, right, in their health and their ability to make a living. So this is just as much a crisis of fairness and equity as it is about ecology. Okay, so we've laid out the problem. It's big. But let's shift gears and talk about a potential solution. And it's a big one. It's an idea that basically reframes our entire economic system. It's called the circular economy. So what is that exactly? Well, at its core, a circular economy is a whole new way of thinking. It's a model designed to, well, stop waste from ever even being created. Instead of the old use it and lose it mentality, it's all about keeping resources and materials in the game, keeping them at their highest possible value for as long as humanly possible. I mean, this comparison says it all, doesn't it? For literally centuries, our economy has been on this one-way street. Take, make, waste. A straight line to the landfill. The circular model? It completely shatters that line. It bends it into a loop, a circle where stuff stays in use, which gives nature the space, the breathing room it so desperately needs to bounce back. And this is a really, really important point to get. This isn't just a fancy word for recycling. It's so much bigger than that. The real magic here is in two words: restoration and regeneration. By designing waste and pollution out of the picture from day one, we can start to take that immense, crushing pressure off our ecosystems. Okay, that all sounds great on paper, right? But what does it actually look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's dive into a couple of amazing real-world examples to see how this whole thing works in practice. First up, we're heading to Peru, right into the heart of the Amazon rainforest. Over there, the Ministry of Environment has kicked off this incredible initiative called the Bio-Business Program. And listen, this is no small-time experiment. They've put their money where their mouth is with a $20 million fund. That money is going out as loans to over 6,000 small and medium-sized businesses. And the whole point? To back practices that are truly sustainable, that honor ancestral knowledge, and, this is key, that make sure the benefits are shared fairly with everyone involved. What they're doing is it's brilliantly simple, and it works. So step one, they focus on regenerating nature itself. Think natural fertilizers, biological pesticides, that kind of stuff. Step two, they push for super efficient use of every single raw material, water and energy included. And step three, which I love, is they look at waste and don't see an end. They see a resource, a starting point for brand new products. All right, let's jump to a completely different world, fashion. Over in Chile, they have seen the ugly side of our fast fashion obsession up close and personal. We're talking about enormous, illegal mountains of discarded clothes just piling up and polluting the incredible Atacama Desert. And just look at these numbers. It's staggering. In just 5 years, the average number of clothing items bought per person in Chile went from 13 to 50. 50! That's nearly a 400% jump in consumption. And all of that stuff? It has to end up somewhere, right? So to fight back against this, Chile is creating a national circular strategy just for textiles. It's a really smart government-led approach that looks at the whole system. It kicks off with prevention, just using less, then it moves on to promoting reuse and repair, and finally, building out the systems we actually need for effective recycling. And the cool thing is, these ideas can be used pretty much anywhere you look. Think about our cities, right? Circular design could help us build amazing places without constantly needing brand new materials. Or how about forestry? We could have systems that actually build up soil health instead of destroying it. And in farming, simple, ancient ideas like crop rotation can keep land healthy and productive for generations. I mean, the possibilities are just endless. So, okay, these examples are amazing. They show us what's possible. But the big question now is, how do we take this from being a cool project here and there to being, well, the new normal? That's the path we need to forge. This quote just hits the nail on the head. For way too long, our whole economic system has basically pretended that nature is a free, all-you-can-eat buffet that never runs out. The massive shift we need to make, it all starts when we finally recognize the true, staggering cost of the natural resources that we all depend on to survive. Because think about it, when we really adopt this circular mindset, we start hitting the biggest causes of biodiversity loss right where they live. We can slash the need to constantly pave over new land. We can stop overusing our resources, and we can attack climate change and pollution right at the source. It really is a systemic solution for a systemic problem. And you should know, this isn't just some fringe, hopeful idea anymore. It's actually becoming a key tool for global action. Circularity is now officially recognized as a vital piece of the puzzle for hitting major international goals, like the big targets laid out in the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. So I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. Most of us have been taught to think of waste as, just a normal part of making things, of progress. But what if that's completely wrong? What if waste isn't a physical thing we have to make at all, but is really just a failure of imagination? Rethinking that one little word, well, that could change absolutely everything.